Hi, welcome to Polyphonic Press. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
And today we're going to be talking about Josh Homme getting attacked by a fan. Here we go. So there's been a video surfaced of Queens of the Stone Age playing, I think it's in Florida somewhere, where a fan came up on stage and tried to, I guess, hug Josh Homme, or more or less attack him, for lack of a better term. Didn't really do anything violent, but it was still a security issue.
Yeah, security issue, that's probably the biggest problem.
Yeah.
I don't think he was actually going to do him any harm.
Yeah, so this raises a couple questions about like security at concerts and you know, general safety of the crowd and the band, and sort of where you draw that line. You know, I think a band like Queens of the Stone Age, they attract a certain group of people who, I hate to generalize and I hate to stereotype, but they're the kind of band where you drink beer at their show. And
they're a pretty good one, though. They're a good band. I like
they're
them.
good. Yeah, no, I love the band, but
there's that certain crowd. It's true.
Yeah. So when you get people in a space like that, drinking beer, any type of alcohol really, you can kind of create an atmosphere where that type of behavior is more prone than say, you know, playing like a Paul Simon concert or something. You're not going to get people rushing the stage at a Paul Simon concert. So it is the type of music that type of crowd attracts. But that's not really a huge problem because it's once in a blue moon that something like this happens. Yeah, no, it's not an excuse either. And, you know, when I think about Noel Gallagher getting attacked on stage in
Toronto.
In Toronto, I don't remember what year that was.
2008 or something like that.
Yeah, and you know, he actually he was attacked.
Yeah,
and
he was
broke
hurt.
a couple of ribs, and so, you know, it raised, like, what is the solution to this? Is it tighter security at concerts? Because sometimes the security can be a little overbearing and too aggressive with the fans. So there's really, you know, you don't really know what the solution is.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if there necessarily is a solution, because if you try to eliminate all threats, you're sort of isolating yourself, and it completely ruins the experience.
Yeah.
And then there's no real point to doing it, so you might as well not do it at all. But they're gonna keep doing it because they want to do it. So yeah. I guess you just kind of have to live with the fact that occasionally somebody, I don't know, keep your guard out. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're trying to do a job. You're playing an instrument. You're maybe singing at the same time. You're trying to remember your set list if it's not already in front of you.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you can't be looking out for.
Yeah, exactly. You have to rely on the security people. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, getting back to what I said, like, security can get out of hand too. Like, I remember, I think it was the Black Crowes in '91 or '92. They played in Houston, and the security got so out of hand that they stopped the show and they walked off the stage because security was harassing people. Luckily, they came back to Houston and played a free show for everybody because they felt so bad about canceling the show halfway through it. But I mean, they actually stopped the show because the security was being too rough with the crowd. So security isn't always, they're not always the best people. So that's another thing you have to look out for too. And then back in, remember in '69, Altamont.
That's
the Rolling Stones hired the Hells Angels to do security for the concert.
And that ended well.
A couple murders. So
I think, well, there was one.
There was one murder. But
they were still bad enough.
Yeah.
It's just one.
Yeah. But so I don't know. I've never really been to a show where the crowd has gotten out of hand.
Not me personally, no. You know, it's gonna sound weird, but at Summerfolk a couple of times I've seen some belligerent and some highly drunken behavior and stuff like that, but it's amazing what you see when you go long enough.
Yeah. So, and you remember that Sloan concert we went to in about 5 or 6 years ago?
Crowd Surfer, yeah.
Yeah, he kept okay, so we're in the front row of this concert. One of our favorite bands, Sloan, and this guy, he must have been drunk. He kept crowd
more
surfing,
than likely,
and people kept, you know,
if he wasn't drunk on booze, he was drunk on life.
Yeah. So he kept doing it over and over and over again, and eventually the band stopped, and Jay Ferguson, the guitar player, came down to there's like a lower part of the stage. He jumped down and actually spit on the guy.
He corked a loogie.
Yeah, and you know, I don't condone spitting on people, but it was called for. Unless it's absolutely called for,
he pissed him off.
He pissed him off, and I think that was the appropriate reaction to that guy.
I remember they were actually in the middle of playing Money City Maniacs, and I think that's kind of what, I mean, you know, that's one of their biggest songs, and that's what probably got him all excited to begin with.
But he was doing it throughout the show too. It wasn't just in that song; it was throughout the whole show.
I just remember Chris Murphy going, "Dude, would you get? You're gonna hurt somebody."
Yeah.
And I remember when security was dragging him off, and the idiot still going, "Woo!" whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, no,
they were still in the middle of playing it, but the song was
almost. I think it stopped completely.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stop completely. They were still playing it, but it sounded. None of them were paying attention. They were going through the motions, and it sounded like crap.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, actually.
It was funny, and
then they suddenly caught themselves, and they just picked right up
where they were. Yeah. No, but that was, you know, that was a bad show because the show, like the guy, but it was a memorable show. Because of that, it was memorable. Well,
it
was a good show. Other than that, it was a good show. I mean, the band played really well that show.
Actually, that was pretty much the only snafu because I remember they really had fun with that show in the later part because that's with the guy had the inflatable guitar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Chris Murphy's like, I want to do something. I want to do something. So he passed it up and he pulled the whole Jimi Hendrix summoning flames from it. I mean, it wasn't burning. Yeah. He just placed it in front of him and started doing this.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was funny enough.
Yeah.
I guess you had to be there, but it's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know in the comments what you think about security at concerts. Do you think it should be brought up? Do you think security is a little too much? Is this just an isolated incident, or do you think that there should be something done about it? Let us know in the comments. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Follow John on Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when we post new videos. And that's about it. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
Take it easy.